The 7 investigators tonight uncovering new information about the cost of police misconduct in Detroit.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars shelled out by taxpayers because officers were accused of crossing the line. Here's 7 investigator Ross Jones.
They are officers who may have gone too far, accused of wrongful arrest, assault and battery, even causing death.
And it costs the city a lot of money. The city can't afford it.
And for attorneys like Dan Romano, they have led to huge cash payouts, judgments or settlements that kept climbing while the city lurched towards bankruptcy. Since 2008, more than 300 people have been awarded money after alleging police misconduct, with payments varying in size from as little as $500 to several million.
What I've learned from doing this for 20 years is that they seem to look at the citizens of Detroit not as the people they serve, but as a nuisance.
Many of the cases allege gross negligence, like in September 2010 when officers were investigating a case here on Fairport Street. Cops encountered 2 dogs and called animal control employee Robert Cole for help, but what happened next cost you a small fortune. According to a lawsuit, both officers on the scene opened fire, aiming for the dogs, but hitting Cole twice. An arbitrator ruled that the city owed him more than $500,000. The same year, Detroit police encountered Craig Graves near the intersection of Mount Elliott and Sylvester. While placing him under arrest for drug possession, a Detroit officer allegedly shot him in the back while he laid face down on the ground. Graves sued. The city settled for $250,000. And outside his home on Robinwood Street, Jason Vereen was handcuffed and placed into a squad car by police when an officer suspected he was trespassing. He wasn't. But while Vereen was handcuffed, an officer allegedly punched him in the head, struck him with a flashlight, then accused him of disorderly conduct. He was found not guilty by a judge, then sued police. $240,000 later, the city settled the case. All told, since 2008, city officials tell us that lawsuits against police have cost taxpayers nearly $27 million. That's much higher than what other similarly sized cities have paid out. Over a 10-year period in Denver, the city shelled out $13 million. In Minneapolis, police misconduct cost taxpayers only $21 million.
But the disparity is even bigger than that. That's because we uncovered 6- and 7-figure settlements that the city paid out but didn't provide to us. They later admitted they should have.
This is not accurate at all.
In fact, attorney Dan Romano says that about a half dozen payouts from cases he filed are listed nowhere. Like the case of Amari Dixon. In 2008, an off-duty Detroit police officer got into an argument with Dixon while the two were sitting at a stoplight. The officer said Dixon pointed a gun at him, leading him to open fire, hitting Dixon 4 times in the back, killing him. But a witness to the crime said Dixon never pointed a gun at all. The cop who pulled the trigger was never charged criminally, but when he was sued by Dixon's family, the city paid out $1.5 million to make the lawsuit go away. When asked about that case, a city lawyer acknowledged that their records were incomplete, and that reported $27 million in payouts, it's actually even higher. It is likely to climb again very soon. Attorney Dan Romano says he has dozens of cases pending against the city right now.
It's good for my business. It's bad for the city of Detroit.
We asked to speak with Mayor Mike Duggan and Police Chief James Craig about the total payouts, but neither got back to us. We should point out that the vast majority of these settlements were paid out before both men took office. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
Late this afternoon, the city responded to our investigation, saying that since a federal monitor began overseeing the police department in 2003, the city has drastically reduced the number of fatal shootings, deaths in holding cells, and complaints against officers. In a statement, the city's corporation counsel said, in part, "We are incredibly proud of the improvements that have been made by the Detroit Police Department to become a model of constitutional policing here in America." As he ruled to dissolve the federal consent decrees that were over DPD for 11 years, Judge Avron Cohn praised DPD for its efforts to improve its policies and practices.